You know what I love? Politicians, man. If you can think of a better grift, if you can think of a better scam in human history other than being a politician, let me know, man. I'm interested. Because we have the politicians now in the United States that have expanded the benefits of being a senator, being a politician in the United States. You want to know how these people have expanded their benefits, how they're enriching themselves further? Now, the taxpayer dime, me and you, us individuals, are now funding senators, food, housing, and basic necessities and utilities and such. I just want you to just let that roll over you, right? You have these people that inflate the currency to a ridiculous amount. They pump all the numbers up. They've, ruined this country financially, basically, in the last 4 years. Godspeed to them. And then they're going to have us paying for their mistakes. Not only are their salaries paid by us, but now we're paying their utilities and their food and their basic necessities. Is this like corporate welfare at its greatest? It just blows my mind that it's actually like that when you consider it, that they've just passed that and people are allowing it. So it is what it is, right? But at the end of the day, nothing's going to protect these people when society collapses, right? When everything falls down, just remember what they've done and remember their house of cards and be in a position to do something about it if you're interested in that sort of ordeal. If not, you can just sit back and watch and just let it all burn. For instance, I have friends that are much more on the activist side as far as, the politics go and doing things. I'm much more a hands-off kind of guy. So, you can pick your poison or how you want to go about this. I may get my hands dirty at some point in the future, but currently I'm just waiting, and I'm just enjoying having a good wrath as society collapses around me, and I suggest you do the same. So if we're going to watch politicians insulate themselves from the, horrific impacts of their, things that they voted for, that they have put into position against the will of at least 60% of the population. Like, let's be clear here. There's some shenanigans going about, and it will continue to go about. But we live in a society, where we're literally giving welfare, housing to these people and paying for their food and all of their benefits, and we won't do it for, we still are not even considering universal basic income. And that to me is crazy. Like, think about it. The elites get universal basic income funded by poor people, and you don't. Like, I don't think UBI is that great of an idea, but I'm much more open to it after the last 4 years, mainly because I just want to watch the system collapse, and I want, an easy route for most people to be able to say, yeah, I'm not contributing to this anymore. Yeah, I'm just going to sit back and watch. So for me personally, I've done kind of a 180 on UBI in the last 4 years, and I kind of want it just as a means of protest against the system, right? And that's certainly not the reason most people want it or why they would want it, but I've changed my mind about that, and I'm a big enough man to admit when I'm wrong about something, when I want to change my mind. Like 4 years ago, I still had hopes to, fix the country, to preserve the Union, to stand against all that, but all that went up in smoke when something naughty happened, and some great demonic force stole our ability to choose from us. And let's be clear here, we had very minimal ability to choose. Like 2016 was a miracle in and of itself, given, all the press and all the news and all of that. And so, it was pretty much to be expected in 2020. I knew how that was going to go down long before it actually went down. It's just ridiculous. And then, really our right to vote got stolen in the year 2000 in that election. But, that's like 20 years back looking through history, and you can pinpoint exactly when America died. And it wasn't on 9/11. Like, 9/11 was just organized by Larry Finkelstein and Big W to, sort of incentivize all of these people and institute a new totalitarian state, a new world order, as George Bush Sr. once put it, right? And so they went through all of that to put us into this position now where you have the banker bros literally getting welfare while average Americans, people that aren't gifted financially, aren't good at, managing their money, people that don't have, a minimalist lifestyle, that are suffering greatly. And they're going to continue to suffer, and things are only going to get worse. Like, you're going to remember why your grandmother used to reuse her tinfoil very soon. A lot of Americans are. And, especially if, they're allowed to dominion the next election as well. So, if you're someone that isn't a minimalist right now, if you're someone that needs their fancy Goislop burgers and their avocado toast and all of that, I would strongly suggest watching some of my videos on minimalism and getting into that mindset where you can go without a lot less, and you can go, start dividing things into things that actually give you happiness and things that society is forcing you to feel a dopamine rush from doing. And then put them into those two separate boxes, because the vast majority of people get a dopamine rush just from purchasing something, and they really shouldn't. And even like $1,000 UBI in modern day, assuming you are an extreme minimalist, you don't own a car, for instance, you have just the basics, And I mean, realistically, depending on what you do, if you only play old video games, depending on the age of them, like my bloody, X22 over there with running its i3 core booted, completely insulated from the NSA spying and all of that, can still play the vast majority of what I do on my actual gaming computer, right? It can still do everything just fine. It's just, it doesn't have as big a monitor, can't display as big resolution, so I generally use the gaming computer more. But my next computer is probably just going to be an energy-saving laptop, because I'm not really interested in new, video game media. Things exciting me, and that can change, but, in like 2 to 3 years when I'm ready to upgrade again, I'm probably going to purchase some low-spec, energy-saving laptop, and then, see. There's a bunch of core-booted options, too, so I might just buy one pre-core booted because I'm lazy, and I have more money than I'll ever know what to do with, but that's just me. But yeah, that one over there, it's, like, literally use it as a server for a lot of things at home, just as my own, like, personal NAS. But, there's a bunch of, like, great stuff you can do with your own setups, and, if you live on UBI, like, that thing cost me like $200, can do virtually everything I want, just play, like, RuneScape and, like, Diablo 2 or whatever. Just, like, ancient stuff. You're never going to feel paused. Like, you can play Warcraft 3 on my old X22, even that might be because it doesn't have Windows, too, because modern Windows runs old legacy software worse than Wine does, so, you might need more configuration and more hackery to be able to make it work, depending on what you're trying to do, but, it's possible. Like, $50 on internet, you don't need a cell phone, don't talk to people anyways, like, why would you ever want to interact with human beings? $50 internet, $50 electricity, get rid of your car, get rid of your license, like, you don't need that garbage, really, especially if you're someone that's planning on trying to never go outside again. Optimally, you wouldn't. And then, let the wages deliver you your basics. Like, it's not your problem. And if you need to go out once a week, put on a big backpack. I have one for longer food trips when I need to buy, like my fruits and veggies, because I like my fruits and veggies. Can't be helped. And, get to a point where, like, figure out a living situation where, you spend $500 a month on rent. I still spend $500 a month on rent. And my landlord loves it because I pay half a year in advance. So, like, he doesn't really care so much that inflation has gone awry, because, he definitely doesn't want to lose me. And I can find, some sort of similar studio apartment deal everywhere across the States. It's not hard to find really cheap housing if you're willing to live in a place that isn't aesthetically pleasing. And you're not trying to pick up girls. You're not bringing a girl home, right? If you're living this minimalist lifestyle, like, no woman is going to want to do that. So, you sacrifice some things in others, but just like anything else in life, it's a zero-sum game. You gain in other ways. So start looking at least towards moving into something like that, because the elites are insulated from the consequences of their actions, and it's going to hit you. So you might as well figure out a way to be safe. And with that, cheers.